Ladies and gentlemen, in the pharmaceutical industry, the journey from a molecule to a medicine that reaches patients is both complex and fascinating. Today, we will dive into the heart of this journey, exploring the key components that ensure the successful launch of a new therapeutic medication. So, welcome to our session on key components of launch excellence. First, we will navigate this complex world of regulatory compliance. It's the backbone of any pharmaceutical launch, ensuring patient safety and adherence to the highest standards. We will also uncover how staying ahead of regulatory changes and maintaining ethical standards are not just about following rules and laws, but also about earning trust and ensuring quality. We will also step into the complexities of thought leader engagement. Here, relationships are key. We will see how connecting with key opinion leaders in the medical field is not just about networking. It's about building partnerships that foster trust and collaboration. These leaders play a crucial role in shaping the medical community's understanding and acceptance of new treatments. And at the heart of this discussion lies scientific communication and education. This is where complex science meets clarity. We will explore how effectively communicating research and educating healthcare professionals about new treatments can really bridge the gap between scientific discovery and patient care. No launch can succeed without robust clinical trial support. So, in this session, we will also talk about how designing, implementing, and supporting clinical trials provide the critical data needed for a successful launch. It's about more than just numbers. It's about ensuring efficacy, safety, and understanding the real-world impact of the new treatment. Each of these components is a specific piece of a larger puzzle. When they come together, they create a comprehensive strategy that ensures not just a successful launch, but also a lasting positive impact on patient care. So, let's get started as we unfold the layers and the main components of launch excellence. Let's start with scientific communication and education. In the pharmaceutical industry, the journey from the laboratory to the patient is paved with the critical tasks of scientific communication and education. These two elements act as the bridge connecting clinical research to clinical practice. The goal is to ensure that healthcare professionals, patients, and other stakeholders have a clear, accurate, and comprehensive understanding of the new product, its benefits, and how it should be used. At the heart of this process is scientific communication. It's about sharing the outcomes of clinical trials in a way that is transparent and accessible. This often means publishing results in peer-reviewed journals and presenting findings at different scientific conferences. It is also about clearly explaining how the product works, its mechanism of action, right down to the molecular or cellular level, so healthcare professionals can understand its place in therapy and make informed decisions accordingly. The strategy behind publishing these findings is crucial. It is not just about getting the information out there, but doing so in a way that reaches a wide professional audience and withstands rigorous scientific scrutiny. This involves careful planning about when and in what sequence to release data to maximize its impact and understanding. Of course, all this communication must adhere to strict regulatory guidelines to ensure it's ethical, accurate, and balanced. But what about education? It's one thing to communicate data, but another to ensure it's understood and applied correctly. This is where continuing medical education, CME, comes in, providing healthcare professionals with the latest developments and understanding of how the new product fits into the current treatment landscape. For patients, education might involve understanding their condition better, knowing how to use the product, what to expect, and when to seek additional medical advice. Let's not forget the sales teams, commercial teams, regulatory, and marketing colleagues who are involved in the launch process internally. They need a solid understanding of the product science to communicate effectively and accurately. They need to be prepared to answer common questions and concerns that may arise during interactions. Engagement and dialogue are also key factors. Collaborating with key opinion leaders through advisory boards and speaker programs helps to gain insights, validate strategies, and discuss new data, and of course, to learn more. It's also about listening to feedback from healthcare professionals, patients, and other stakeholders to understand how the product is perceived and used in reality, and by using this feedback to adapt and improve. In today's digital world, online resources like websites, portals, webinars, and virtual meetings, along with different interactive tools like mobile apps and even virtual reality, are increasingly important. They provide convenient access to information and innovative ways to explain complex mechanisms of action. That is to say, scientific communication and education are about much more than just disseminating information. They are about fostering understanding, building trust, and facilitating informed decision making. By effectively implementing these strategies and components, medical affairs teams can significantly contribute to the successful launch of a new pharmaceutical product, ensuring that it is used safely, appropriately, and to its full therapeutic potential. It's a complex but rewarding journey, one that ultimately leads to better care and outcomes for patients. The second important component of launch excellence is clinical trial support and the role of medical affairs in this aspect. As we mentioned before, in the process of preparing for a launch of a pharmaceutical product, clinical trial support is a very important element that significantly shapes the trajectory and success of the product's market entry. The role of medical affairs in this is both multifaceted and profoundly impactful, providing scientific and clinical expertise that ensures the clinical trials are not only scientifically robust, but also strategically aligned with the therapeutic needs and commercial objectives of the product. During the clinical trial design and planning phase, medical affairs plays a crucial role. Their involvement in protocol development is marked by providing scientific input that ensures the study is designed to answer the most relevant and critical scientific and medical questions. Their deep understanding of the therapeutic area helps in selecting clinically meaningful endpoints that resonate with healthcare professionals, patients, and also regulatory bodies. Furthermore, medical affairs assists in feasibility assessments, helping to identify and evaluate potential trial sites and contributing to the development of ethical, efficient, and effective patient recruitment strategies. As the trials start, medical affairs continues to provide support. They offer training and ongoing education to investigators and site staff, ensuring a deep understanding of the study protocol, the product, and the therapeutic area as well. Acting as a scientific liaison, they bridge any gaps between the clinical trial team and the investigators, providing clarity and answers to complex issues. The role of medical affairs here extends to data monitoring and management, where they may be involved in interim data analysis and safety monitoring, ensuring any concerns are promptly and appropriately addressed. As the launch approaches, the role of medical affairs shifts towards preparing for market entry. They help to interpret clinical trial results, understanding their significance in the broader context of patient care and the therapeutic landscape. Developing a strategic publication plan ensures that the trial results are communicated transparently, timely, and to the appropriate audiences. They also assist in preparing scientific and medical sections for the regulatory documents and may participate in regulatory advisory panel meetings, providing essential scientific expertise and support. Post-trial, medical affairs doesn't step back. Their role evolves to focus on real-world evidence generation. They often lead post-marketing studies, and registry studies to gather long-term data on safety and efficacy, which is very important for market access and reimbursement. Establishing feedback loops with healthcare professionals allows them to gather insights from clinical practice, informing future clinical development and strategy. Throughout all these stages, medical affairs holds to the highest ethical standards. They ensure that all aspects of clinical trial support are conducted with integrity and transparency, building trust with regulators, healthcare professionals, and patients. They monitor compliance at this stage with all relevant regulations and guidelines. They protect the integrity of the trial and the reputation of the company. That is to say, the involvement of medical affairs in clinical trial support during the launch preparation of a new pharmaceutical product is very important. Their expertise ensures that the trials are designed and conducted with scientific rigor, ethical integrity, and strategic foresight. By providing expertise, facilitating communication, and ensuring compliance, they help to pave the way for a successful product launch, ensuring that the product will meet its highest standards of safety, efficacy, and value to patients. So the work here is strong evidence of the critical role that medical affairs plays in bridging the gap between clinical research and the successful introduction of a new therapeutic option to the market. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the engagement of thought leaders as part of launch excellence. But first, we need to answer two important questions. What's the difference between thought leaders and key opinion leaders? When should medical affairs start engaging a new group of key opinion leaders for the launch? Let's start with the first question. In the world of healthcare and medicine, when a new product is about to be launched, there are two types of influential people that pharmaceutical organizations pay attention to: thought leaders and key opinion leaders. Both are important. Both are very critical for the new launch, but they play different roles. Think of thought leaders as the big idea people. They are the ones who see the future of medicine and come up with new and exciting ideas. They are not just experts in the medical field, they are the ones pushing boundaries and thinking about what's next. For medical affairs teams getting ready to launch a new product, talking to those thought leaders early is a very important strategy. They help the team understand where healthcare is heading and how the new product can fit into that future. These early insights can shape how the product is introduced to the market and ensure it's seen as something new and important. On the other hand, key opinion leaders are more like the respected voices of today. They are the doctors and researchers that other doctors listen to and are influenced by. They have a lot of experience and are well known for their work. When a new product is launched, these key opinion leaders are important because they help other healthcare professionals understand and trust the new medication. They are more about making sure the product works well and is used correctly by other doctors, physicians, and patients. For medical affairs teams preparing for a new product launch, it's not about choosing between thought leaders or key opinion leaders. It's about talking to both. However, it's especially critical to engage with thought leaders very early in the process. This is because their insights help you shape the whole strategy for the new product. They can provide valuable ideas on how to make the product stand out and how it can meet future needs in healthcare. In simple terms, engaging thought leaders early helps the medical affairs team set the stage for a successful launch. It ensures the product is not just another option, but a step into the future of treatment and disease management. Meanwhile, key opinion leaders help build trust and understanding around the product, making sure it's used well and benefits patients today. In conclusion, both thought leaders and key opinion leaders are important when preparing for a new product launch. The early engagement of thought leaders is particularly critical. And that's why most pharmaceutical organizations monitor the frequency of interactions between MSLs and thought leaders prior to launch. It's considered an important metric to evaluate the readiness of medical affairs to launch a new product. Thought leaders, with their visionary insights, help prepare the path to launch, not only to meet current healthcare needs, but also to pave the way for future advancements. Engaging both thought leaders and key opinion leaders effectively and on time ensures a well rounded approach that contributes to the success of the launch. Engaging thought leaders or experts in the medical field is like making friends long before you need their help. In the pharmaceutical industry, this means starting to talk to these influential people well before a new medicine is launched. This part of the story is about why and how this early engagement is done for a successful product launch. When should medical affairs make the first move? Before the new medicine is even close to being ready for patients, medical affairs teams from the pharmaceutical organization start looking for the right thought leaders. They look for physicians and researchers who are well respected and have a strong voice in the medical field. The first time they reach out to these experts, it's not to talk about the new medication, but to start a friendly and professional relationship. They talk about what's currently missing in patient treatments and share the latest research. Then begins the phase of building the relationship and growing trust. As the new medication gets closer to being finished, the relationship with these thought leaders gets stronger. They are invited to give their advice on how the medicine should be tested and how it will fit into the current treatment paradigms. They might also collaborate on research. Throughout this time, the medical affairs team ensures that everything is done properly and follows all ethical and regulatory guidelines, keeping the relationship honest, transparent, and respectful. When you are ready for the launch, when it is almost time to introduce the new medication to the world, these thought leaders are already prepared to support you because they have been involved from early on. They understand the medication well and can explain its benefits to other physicians and patients. Even after the medicine is launched, they continue giving feedback to the organization, helping the team understand how the medicine is being received and where improvements can be made. That is to say, starting these relationships early is critical. It's about preparing the ground for a successful launch, where the medicine is not just thrown into the market, but is welcomed and used effectively. This early effort is not just a strategy, it's about working together and making a real difference in patient care. It shows the power of collaboration and the positive impact of building connections long before they are needed. So, engagement of thought leaders is a very important strategy that is employed by medical affairs. Medical affairs teams approach thought leaders with a systematic and strategic mindset. The process begins with the identification and segmentation of thought leaders. This involves recognizing individuals based on their expertise, influence, and roles within the medical community, whether they are researchers, practitioners, or policy influencers. The relevance of a key opinion leader to the scientific therapeutic area and product is crucial, ensuring that the engagement is meaningful and productive. Key opinion leaders are often segmented into levels based on their influence and reach, which allows medical affairs teams to tailor their engagement strategies effectively. Building relationships with key opinion leaders is a delicate and ongoing process. Initial engagement is typically personalized, acknowledging the KOL's contributions to the field and aiming to build a respectful, professional relationship. Early discussions focus on scientific exchange, where medical affairs provides detailed product and disease state information, while also seeking the KOL's insights and perspectives. Maintaining regular contact through various channels helps keep KOLs informed and engaged. As we mentioned before, there are a lot of collaborative activities between medical affairs and thought leaders. or key opinion leaders. These collaborative activities are the cornerstone of this engagement. Advisory boards are a common platform where KOLs can provide strategic input and insights on clinical trial design, product positioning, unmet patient needs, expected obstacles during the patient journey, and so on. They also offer feedback on clinical data and help interpret how findings might impact clinical practice. Educational initiatives and speaker programs are other areas of collaboration, with KOLs participating in speaker programs and assisting in the development and review of educational materials for healthcare professionals and patients. Leveraging the expertise of thought leaders goes beyond advice and insights. Their real world clinical experience and insights into patient care and the patient journey are invaluable in understanding how the product might be used and perceived in the healthcare setting. In fact, thought leader engagement is arguably the most important component of launch excellence. KOLs may also collaborate on or lead investigator initiated studies, exploring new aspects of the product and contributing to the scientific literature through joint publications, enhancing the product's credibility and visibility. From an ethical and compliant point of view, the engagement must follow all ethics and compliance rules. This is the backbone of thought leader engagement. All interactions must be conducted with the highest ethical standards to ensure transparency and respect for the independence of KOLs. Medical affairs teams are well versed in compliance regulations and ensure all engagements adhere to industry standards and guidelines. Additionally, feedback and adaptation are crucial in this dynamic process. Medical affairs continuously gathers and analyzes feedback and insights from KOLs to understand the evolving landscape and adapt strategies accordingly. The impact of KOL engagement on product strategy, clinical practice, and patient outcomes is regularly assessed, ensuring that the approach remains relevant and effective. That is to say, thought leader engagement is a strategic imperative for medical affairs in the pre-launch phase of a pharmaceutical product. By building strong, ethical relationships with both key opinion leaders and thought leaders, medical affairs can gain insights, foster advocacy, and enhance the scientific and medical understanding of the new product. This not only helps ensure a successful launch, but also positions the product to meet the real needs of healthcare professionals and patients, ultimately improving outcomes and care standards. As we wrap up this first part of our journey into launch excellence, take a moment to reflect on the critical role medical affairs plays before a product ever reaches the market. From crafting clear, credible scientific communication to shaping the design and delivery of robust clinical trials to building early, strategic relationships with thought leaders and key opinion leaders, it's all about laying the scientific and strategic groundwork for a successful launch. But here's the key takeaway. A successful product launch doesn't begin with a sales pitch. It begins with science. And it's medical affairs that paves the way, often starting 12 to 24 months before a product even reaches regulatory submission. Now, while what we've covered so far forms the foundation, there's much more to explore. Because when the pressure mounts closer to launch, new challenges emerge, ensuring compliance, aligning internal messaging, managing risk, training cross-functional teams, and staying grounded in ethics while enabling speed. These are equally critical, and in our next tutorial, we'll dive deeper into these components, looking at how medical affairs ensures compliance, supports internal readiness, and protects the integrity of the launch. So don't miss it. What happens behind the scenes is just as important as what happens in the spotlight. See you in the next session.